Okay, so let's see if we can make it better.
It's always good.
Okay.
In the back, because as you know with schools you have to get consent
I
for
know
the
you
kids
are
and all that kind of stuff, which we have, but it's
you
if
may
you're
not
from the
know
back and you
everything,
can't see the kids'
but
faces
let
anyway, it
me
doesn't
ask
really
you
matter, so go
something.
ahead.
Who do you think
Thanks.
founded Islam? I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about the faith, but last time we did. But we're gonna talk about the customs, the practices, and things like that. Other things I'll just talk about very briefly, shortly. Okay. Who founded Islam? Abraham. Next.
Muhammad.
Okay. Muhammad? Okay. Next. When was Islam founded? You don't have to be exact. Just take an idea. Go ahead.
I think
500 years, 1,000, 15, 2,000 years ago when?
about like 2000.
Okay.
450 years after the death of Christ.
Okay. That's a good guess.
100 years. 5,000.
Okay. You know how many years ago Jesus Christ came? Approximately 2,000. So Muhammad came about 560, 70 years after. It's about 1400. But, so we'll come back to this. Islam, the word Islam literally means peace in Arabic. Like I just said, when we meet each other and greet, we say Salam Alaikum. Alaikum means upon you. Salam Alaikum, peace upon you. So Islam means peace. What does it mean? Islam means peace. It means peace that when, you know how when your teacher says something or your parents and you abide by all the rules, you have peace, right? You're at peace because you know I did everything right. I have no problem. What I'm going to expect from a teacher or parent is just love, the enjoyment and fun, because I'm just fine. I have no problem. If you're walking on the street, there is a police, they have a checkpoint, they ask you to come out and check, you have no problem, because you know I'm fine, right? That piece, which comes with submission to the will of God, or whatever He is following. So in that, Muslim is the one who has Islam. See how the similarity is Muslim and Islam? So the one who is willfully following the will of God, not forcefully, but willfully, who said, fine, I'm going to follow you. Now, Islam started with Adam, peace be upon him. When did Judaism start? Yeah?
It was the first religion. Abrahamic religion.
So we, in ordinary terms, we call Moses started, right? We call Musa, Musa, Jesus. So we say, but Islamic belief, according to our Holy Book, is that the first human being that God created was also the first prophet. He had maybe few instructions, that's it, because he didn't need a whole lot. There was no big society. But we believe that's how it all started. On the way, there was about 124,000 prophets sent on different times. Because with time, people would go away from the straight path for whatever different reasons. Then another prophet would come, messenger, bring them back. Some will come back, other won't, and then continue, another comes. So the society is growing, becoming complex, more and more things taking place, right? So each new one brought something different or new or enhanced whatever was there already. So according to Muslim, Islamic belief, all these great people, Moses, Jesus, Abraham, Noah, David, all these, they were all sent by God or to perform certain things in this world. So that's why we believe that Islam started with Adam. And we also believe in Moses and Jesus and all these great biblical figures that you probably know about already. So, and as a matter of fact, in one of the last verses of the second chapter of Qur'an, which is the longest, it says we hold them all in equal respect. So you would never see a Muslim saying anything bad about any of these people. As a matter of fact, whenever we mention their name in Arabic, we also say Radiyallah, which means may Allah be pleased with them. So we say Jesus Radiyallah, Moses, Musa Radiyallah. We are required to say that. So, like other faiths, Islam is not just to go to the masjid, pray and go home and do whatever you want. It does have the set of rituals, but it also has it is required of us that we follow those principles. For example, the way we dress up, it should be modest, and I'll show you some pictures. And there is a separation of males and females. Don't curse when you go out. Don't steal. All those bad things, right? Because in our book, God says, on the day of judgment, you will be judged your actions will be judged based upon your intention, right? So you may be trying to help somebody and end up having an accident, right? But to God, to law here, it may be something bad you have done, but to God, you will be rewarded because your intention was good. On the other hand, if your intention was bad, let's say I have bad intention, I'm trying to be friends with a co-worker, and my intention is that I somehow get into his house and steal his cell phone or something. So on the surface, it looks like I'm very nice to him, but my intention is bad. So all the work I'm going to be doing will be counted as a negative thing on the day of judgment. So that is the most important thing in one's life. You make sure the intention is clean. Secondly, your intention is only for the sake of God. So if, let's say, this brother comes to me, I find him and I said, in our culture, we call each other brothers and sisters, no matter how old or young you are. Okay, so don't mind. When I call you brother, it doesn't mean you are also 50 years, right? It doesn't mean that. So, what was I saying? Intention. We went past that, and I want to talk about
doing good, or
yeah, when you are doing something good, that's what your intention will be now. And now, second part of the intention was, first of all, your intention should be right. Second, your intention should be only purely for the sake of God. For example, I know this guy in the school. Suppose I'm your class fellow, and I say, why are you worried? He said, well, I have this problem. I said, I'll help you. I helped him. 2 days later, I find him again sad and down. And what happened? He said, oh, my bike broke down and nobody's helping. I said, I'll help you fix your bike. Again, I'll give you money. I do a lot of good things to him. I should think, why do I expect something in return? If I do, I should stop. After that, suppose one day I'm in trouble and he's walking by. And suppose in past 2 months, I spent $200 on this guy. Now I am in trouble, he walks by and he said, hey, what happened? I said, I just need $5. And let's say he has $100 in his pocket. He just said, oh really? Man, I wish I could help. I'm sorry, man. And he walks in. How should I feel? No, I won't. I will not think, oh, I spent $200 on him and he wasn't willing to spend $5, because when I spend $200, I spend that for the sake of God. Right? So if he doesn't, that's his action, not my action. That's what we have to think. So a lot of people in our community would come, oh brother, I did this for this brother and look what happened. No, what was your intention when you helped? If your intention was to please God, please please. You got it. That's why, particularly in given situation, God says on the day of judgment, some people will come and say, they'll be very happy. They'll say, I died for your cause. And God will say, no, you died because your intention was that people will call you a martyr and say, wow, he's a great warrior. And people did call you that, so you got what you wanted, what you were looking for. So you expect nothing from me, no reward. Now, very quickly, these are the things we believe, and I'm sure we share a lot of this. We believe in one God. We believe that there are angels. You believe in angels? We believe there are angels. They are creatures of God. We just don't see them. We believe there are divine books God has sent. We believe God sent a book to. First, He sent some instructions to everybody, but a proper book. The first one was sent to Moses. Second was sent to Jesus. And then there was some small book or booklet was sent to, which is called Psalms, part of Bible. It was sent to David. And then we believe he sent a book to Muhammad, Qur'an. The word Qur'an literally means something that should be read, something like a book. We believe that there will be a day of judgment. We will all die. and I know there are a lot of similarities between Christian Judaism and Christianity, Judaism and Islam. We will die, we believe we will die, then we will be raised again. And then our own actions will be recorded, our hands. So we will see our own actions and we will know where we are going to go. We will know what I have done or not. And then there is a whole complex thing with God's mercy. You know, He's going to say, well, you couldn't do much, but I know your intentions and your efforts and stuff, right? So we will be judged by God based on our actions and God's mercy. We also believe in destiny. We believe you can try. You do your best you can by, while you're observing the limits of God. You do your best. After that, you leave things in God's hand, which means certain things are decided. Not if, when I say certain things are decided, I'm not saying if A kills B, it means, oh, Allah, God has said A is going to kill me. He said, I have established the link between cause and effect. So if you take I-10 from Speedway, you have only one choice. You have to go north because highway is already built. But when you go north, you have a choice to get off or keep going. So at different times in our life, God gives us choice. You make the choice and then you face the consequence. Right? For example, God has created fire to burn, cook or burn, whatever. If an innocent kid goes, I remember my nephew, he was like 2, 3 years old and he just crawled with it and he put his hand on the heater and burned his hand. 2 weeks later he came again visiting my place. He went up to the heater and he stopped. Because even though he was very young, he remembered there was some problem. Now, we cannot say, well, in case of an innocent kid walking or crawling up to a fire shouldn't do anything. No, it has been decided. Now it's our responsibility to hold the kid away from the fire, right? Because big, old, adult, sane, insane, anybody who puts hand in the fire is going to burn. So we have a choice, put our hand in the fire or not. That's what it means. Destiny, certain things are decided, good and bad comes from God. When you have done your best, after that, don't worry about it. Because whatever is happening because life is complex, right? You may have just not failed, but just fallen through some cracks. Just be satisfied. I have seen people, they have difficulty and they start, God forbid, they start saying bad things to God and curse and things like that. So I don't want to go into details about these things. I just wanted to we hold them all in equal respect. As a matter of fact, you know how many times the name of Muhammad mentioned in my book, in the Quran? How many can you guess? The Quran is a pretty big book. How many? Okay, how many times the name of Jesus mentioned in the Quran? Were you here last year? You're raising your hand, I feel like you were here last year. Okay. Okay, guess. Okay, if we take name of Moses, Jesus and Muhammad, who should be mentioned the most? Who do you think is mentioned the most in the Quran?
God.
Okay. The name of Moses is mentioned about 160 times. And the longest story, the longest chapter is about Moses. Secondly, name of Jesus is mentioned 24 times. And name of Muhammad is mentioned 1 time.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Oh, are you scared? Okay, this guy is going to say some stuff in
Allahu Akbar,
He's saying God is the greatest in Arabic. Now he's going to say it. He's going to say, I
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
He said, I bear the witness that God, only God is worthy of worship to be followed, not nothing else. He's going to say it twice.
Can this be heard outside?
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
He said, I bear the witness that Muhammad is God's messenger. Okay, he's going to say it twice. And while he's saying this, the next he's going to say, come to the prayer.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
So when you guys saw the tower outside, the internet, we talked about the horizon, this would have been
حي على الصلاة.
but back in the day, it would have been a guy climbing up into
حي على الصلاة.
So he just said, come to the prayer. Now he's going to say, come to something beneficial.
حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح.
So he's done.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
So at the end, he repeated the first two lines. This video shows you the same adhan in an Islamic country. When this is there, just like you have like bells, we have a lot of mosques, almost every 2 blocks, and they have loudspeakers. So the whole area is echoing with this. That means now you go to the mosque. So this BBC journalist went to this country. She wanted to see what it is. So the host takes her on the rooftop so you can hear what's going on in the room. I'll run it for less than a minute. You see, the call is starting in the background. There are 26 mosques in 1 square kilometer.
In that situation, Irfan, would they be interconnected, so it's one recording playing out of all of them, or are they all doing their own recording?
There are always few minutes. Each mosque has its own. So you will see that people are even closing their shops. This is what I miss because we can't do it here, open. But it's everywhere. For 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it keeps going. And in some of the countries like Saudi Arabia, even jewelers leave their shops and go to the mosque. They have to go and pray. And hardly anybody tries to steal anything until they get caught. That's very easy. So I think we can stop here so you can go over there in 5 minutes. And anybody has any questions? So when Islam, the way it is today started in Saudi Arabia, then Prophet Muhammad asked his companion, how do we tell people it's time to pray. So they had similar suggestions like use the, you know, the like in Jewish tradition they use that horn. Yes, and then in the bells and everything, so they considered, and then one person made this suggestion. They said, okay, we'll do this. So that's how they started. So any question? Yes.
I was wondering why the Muslim sign is a crescent and a star.
Okay. It's not a Muslim sign, it has just somehow been attached to Islam. During the Ottoman Caliph period, which was like 400 or 500 years in Turkey, they used it. It was actually a Turkish symbol, and it just became part of the Islam. Otherwise, there is no symbol that's part of the faith. So, however, I think that one reason is because, like Judaism, a lot of our all the religious holidays are based on lunar calendar. So when you have a new moon, we start our fasting month. When the new moon, we stop. The new moon, we have the pilgrimage, which is coming up in about 2-3 weeks. So I think because of that, it has an importance, the moon, or more precisely crescent, the new one, the thin one. Every Muslim can read Arabic, no matter which country you're from. You have to read Arabic because you have to read your book in Arabic. Because Arabic is hard to translate Arabic into other languages, and we have several translations, but there are many important words that cannot be translated into English, for example, by using 1 or 2 words. You have to kind of write a sentences. So, yeah, everybody can read, and everybody can write, but not everybody can speak.
So that's cool though, education-wise, because even if you're from a country that doesn't speak Arabic normally, you still have to learn how to read Arabic.
My kids, they know how to do it, and actually, even though they do not speak Arabic, they are memorizing the whole book. At any given time in the world, 7 million people memorize the whole book in Arabic. So every mosque, we have 2 people like this. My own son, he's 14 years old in 8th grade, Orange Grove. He has memorized 1/6 of the whole book. So if you open a book, and he's going to start going, and you go run your finger, he won't miss a word. One day he hopes to complete the whole thing. Most of the kids who memorize the book, they do so by the age of 8, 9, or 12. They're done. They memorize it, and usually those people are doctors. So many doctors, there are about 60,000 doctors in America, Muslim doctors, 60 to 80,000. And many of them are also the memorizers. You would think you run out of memory, but you don't. Yes?
Is it true that you get a pick an age when you can wear that thing over your head?
When you reach the age of puberty. Okay, before they start the prayer, we'll go in, you can sit down and observe how they're going to pray. This prayer is silent prayer. The leader is going to recite things in his heart, and we will all
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Allahu Akbar. Allah.
سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
yesterday on NPR they were playing the way Jains worship. It's a faith in India. And when they played the way they worship, I smiled. I said, what is it? So things are weird, right? They look weird because you're not used to it. But the faith has their own. So, any question about the way we pray? We have 5 prayers in a day. First one, when does dawn breaks? Nowadays around 4:45 until about 6 o'clock when sun comes up. In that, in our 15 minutes, we do half of this. And then we have this one second. We have third one around 4 o'clock when everything's shadow is twice the size of that object. So if you have a 1 foot long, let's say a pencil, and you put it vertically like this, and the shadow is too big, then the time for the third prayer starts. But nobody calculates like that now, right? We know it now. And then the fourth one is when the sun goes down. We have about an hour before it becomes dark. And then the last one is any time after the darkness starts until the first prayer. So we do this. If I'm home, I do it with my family. If I'm at work, I'll just do it by myself. If I'm here, that's what we do. So,
Could you explain that a little bit, that you don't necessarily have to be in a mosque
okay,
to pray?
yes. And I just want to say one more thing. The first, third, and the fifth. Not this one and the next one, which is second and third. Other 3 prayers, the person who is leading, he recites the portion of the Qur'an anywhere in Arabic. And we also recite something. And when we are quiet, we are reciting them in our heart. So I recite, for example, I was reciting something. Now, it is important that we do by time. It is compulsory. The order is, even if you're sick in your bed, do it. Do it with like gestures. If you can't even move your hands and legs, do it with your eyes. If you can't even do that, just imagine you're doing it. There is no exception. If you're traveling on a horse, donkey, old times car, do it when you're driving. If you can't pull over, and I pull over on I-10 and pray on the side, shoulder. If I can't, it's dark, dangerous, whatever, just keep driving and do the whole thing. Why it's so important? Because it connects you with God. God says, just stay connected. Because during the day, there are so many temptations and things. Now, it's preferred that men come to the mosque and pray. But it's not possible here. Back home it is possible because, just like you have church, every 2 or 3 blocks, we have mosque. So it is almost required of men to go to the mosque. But if they can't, wherever there are more than one, you should get together and do this in a group. Even if there are 2, we have to have it together. So for example, when we travel, if I'm traveling with a person, we have to pick one as a leader. The leader is called Imam. So we have to decide, okay, if I am traveling with him, we'll have to decide, okay, you be the leader or I be the leader. Which means you're going to decide where to stop and what to eat. So it's very important, togetherness, collectiveness. Any other? Jewish prayer is close. I saw a video. They bow first and then they do this. We bow first and then do the prostration. They put their forehead on the floor first, I think. But it's similar. You may remember in the Bible it says Jesus went on the mountain and he threw himself on his face. So this act, when we put our forehead, is called sajda, which means this act is closest to God. Because you are saying, I'm nothing compared to you. Literally, like we use the word, I bow to him. You know how you go like, that's what it is. So, any question? Excuse me? Oh, women? Okay. Good question. While we are praying, particularly men and women should be away from each other. So if there are more women in the mosque, they will take the front or this part and we will be kind of on the side. But hardly women are not required to come to the mosque, so they don't. But whoever comes, they have their own room in the back, you will see. So they go in their room. Some mosques have separate rooms. Some mosques give men the first floor and women the second floor, or side by side. But there are different ways of separating. We don't stand next to each other. We don't stand, we can see each other. because this is the time to just focus on God. So most of the people close their eyes, so whatever they're reciting, they're thinking about it.
I just have a neat story about you said anytime there are men in a group, they pray. And I have been to a couple Muslim countries and seen some of the stuff like Irfan showed you. But the coolest prayer I've ever seen was in New York City once. And there were a bunch of street vendors, like guys on the side of the street who were selling bags or any kind of souvenir. And for whatever reason, all of them on this block were all Muslim. And it was the middle of the day in New York City, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever been there or seen videos of people walking down the street, how busy it is. But it was time for them to pray, and they all just stopped. They all had a little carpet that they took out from their stall, and right in the middle of the sidewalk with like thousands and thousands of people going by, they all got down and did their prayers, and they totally concentrated and recited all the stuff, and people just moved out of the way. It was really amazing, actually.
Yes, people, I have seen people, we pray, a lot of times people walk by and they say, did you drop something? And I can't even answer, because I answer, I break my prayer, start over. So we went to this church on Speedway and by the Pima College campus. It's called Most Holy Church something. So it was time, and I didn't want to go in and join the event, because then I was going to miss my evening prayer. It has only about 45 minutes. So I started praying between my car and the next car on the parking. And then came a car behind me, this lady parks. She comes down, she says, excuse me, are you all right? And I just keep praying, and she said, should I call somebody? And I'm still quiet. And then she said, oh, I understand what you're doing, and she walks away. So you have to pray, I saw a picture on the internet when there was a flood in Philippines or someplace, and they have their three-wheeler, like a taxi. It's about this high, and it's like a scooter, just to put a canopy on it and make it like a taxi. So this kid was stuck in the flood. So he climbed the rooftop and he's praying on the rooftop.
That's commitment.
Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
Pretty good time to pray, too.
Really.
And when we are in trouble, and that's what God says in our book, He says, when you are in trouble, like if you're in a boat and it starts going with waves, you really start calling unto me with pure hearts. And when you're out of trouble, you forget about it. He said, that behavior is not acceptable. If you forget me in your good times, I'll forget you. One day you need me. So, come on now, you should have more questions about this. And then we break in 5 minutes, we can have lunch, and then we can keep talking.
I saw all of you guys looking out there, the looks on your faces, you were very curious and
I
interested.
know, so you smile, laugh, what is that weird, man? Why are you laughing? Let's start from here.
The guy that was in the middle in the microphone, what did he say?
Oh yeah, for each time he finishes one act, he says Allahu Akbar. So we know it's time to go to the next. And when we stand up, he says Sami Allahu liman hamid. God has indeed listened to us. In other words, he's just saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We finish the prayer, we turn right and then left. He says Salaam Alaikum. Then we say Salaam Alaikum. Obviously, it means we are saying peace to everybody in the world on the right, peace to everybody in the world on the left. That's how we finish. Yes.
The motions that they were doing, like, didn't use it.
That's how Prophet did. So when we start, we say Allahu Akbar. It is same almost like taking oath. We are taking oath that God is the greatest. And each time we say Allahu Akbar, we don't have to raise hand, but some people do. But that's fine.
And what about the
Just the
gripping of the knees?
Yeah, we just bend down and say Sami Allahu liman hamid. Subhana Rabbi al-Azim. Praise be to the Lord who is the great. And when we put our forehead, we say, praise be to the Lord who is the best. We say it 3 times each. Yes. We will go like this.
There's a guy over there, he was like counting them.
Oh, beads? Okay. it is recommended, but not compulsory, that after the prayer you say 33 times praise be to God, 33 times thank God, and 34 times God is the greatest. But not everybody does, it's recommended to do it. So they use beads or they count on their fingers. Yes.
Why do you put your feet behind your back?
That's how we sit. There are different ways you can sit, but this is the way Prophet did.
Some of us were wondering about like sitting this regular cross-legged or pointing at somebody. Is there something about that? Like you sit with your legs behind you or pointed to the side so as not to point at somebody? That's not
Different ways. There are different ways to do it. The point is, the prayer you should be standing, first position, bowing, second, third, putting your forehead, fourth, you just sit down. How you do your feet and stuff, other details are not important. So there are some variations actually. So next one. Any question, guys?
So before you start praying, do you have to know the words, what they say?
When kids start praying, like my kids, what we do when I started, when they were growing up, like 2 years, 2.5, they would see me pray and their mother and my father. So kids think, dad is doing some game or something. So they come from behind, they grab you, get on your back. Then I put my forehead, they fall over. So you have to be careful with one hand, you hold them. And it's allowed to, change your position and take care of the kid, if kid is around. But they see us doing all the time. And I enjoy it too, because my kid now is 11th grade, he used to put his toes on my belt here and stand up on the belt and grab me by my neck. So I'm like, and sometimes my wife would come and take them out, things like that. But they just learn that way, what we are doing, how we are doing. And they just grow up doing this thing. So my kids been praying since they were like 6, 7 years old.
Thank you.
Okay.
In front of the person that was talking, in front of them, what was that?
Oh, that we will go and we will talk about this.
That's why those architecture.
Any other? I thought I saw a few hands there, but that's okay. Okay.
same question.
Okay. Do you have another question? Okay. You wanna take the question?
You guys, is it okay if we eat in here?
Sure.
I'll start getting lunch ready, but if you can probably use this time too to discuss it with yourselves or ask more questions.
And while you're eating, I'll show you a show. How do you connect to God? When do you and how do you? Anybody understand? Okay. Do you ever, when you think of God or you're in prayer, do you ever get tears in your eyes?
When we pray,
That is true. And in our faith, God says, if any eyes that get tears while thinking about me, the fire will never touch you. They will not be touched. They're very sincere. You have to be sincere to get tears, right?
sectioned out, right? So I'll be able to tell you some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Is the carpet special or just?
No, we don't have to have any special cover. I can lay on the floor on dust as long as it's clean.
I don't know what was it.
Irfan, would you like a sandwich or chicken?
No, thanks. You don't mind. That I can do. Thank you very much. Oh, sandwich?
Yes. It has chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So, I was just offered a chicken sandwich.
Yes.
The problem is, just like Jews, we eat certain kosher meat. So it has to be kosher meat, otherwise I can't. So
Okay.
any meat I eat should be kosher except fish, because I can eat.
So what do we bring you next time?
Yeah. We avoided.
We avoided pork.
We avoided pork.
Yeah,
but
pork,
we didn't
no
know.
matter what, I
No
can
matter
eat.
what.
Unless I'm dying.
Right, so what should we bring you next time?
A friend of mine told me that you don't know how tasty those pork, those thin layers, bacon. So I said, but I can't eat pork unless I'm
Right.
dying. He said, well, why don't you starve one day?
So how-
Don't eat 2-3 days.
How would the chicken need to be prepared for you to do it?
It has to be killed in a particular.
Okay, killed in a particular way, got it. You want to?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Can you eat it or like
Okay. You know the way typically animal is killed, either it is electrocuted, or they kill them with a machine, or like chicken, they sit and they keep going on a conveyor belt and a knife keeps still cutting them. That's okay. Animals are killed in different ways. The way we should kill, like you first cut this way, and let the blood out. Drain it out. Drain it out. Then why?
Everybody get mustard. The mustard needs to come back this way. The mustard needs to come
I
back
was
this way.
gonna order pizza because I don't know what your kids may be allergic, what they like, what they don't. But I know pizza would be something everybody.
Everybody get mustard. Everybody get mustard. Alright, I'm passing this around, so make sure everybody gets ran. Turn around.
which one do you want?
Alright.
Which one do you want?
That's the dog.
Esto lo hace Mr. que me está aportando. Que me está aportando
If you guys aren't going to use your mustard or your ranch, just put it back in the bag, okay?
Okay.
Or yeah, you can go with someone else, okay?
¿Y a mi mamá?
When you teach math,
Cuando llegue a la casa.
Just set them right there.
Juice, 100% juice.
So you don't have my own problem. No.
I think
don't have to bring the food.
Not the whole bag. I got a handful. There you go.
Cookies? You get one, Chris?
Alright, put them on your plate. You are very welcome.
Is always with lettuce.
One.
Thank you.
Irfan, one of our students asked about the carpet in there.
Yeah.
And if it had to be any kind of special carpet, or if all mosques had the kind of, you know how the carpet has like partitions in it, the spaces. If it's all like that, or you chose the carpet.
It can be any kind of carpet or rug or dry leaves or dust or just board. Everything is, as long as it's clean, it's fine. There is nothing specific. And you said something about yeah, different mosques have their own, you know, depending on what services they are running. They may have classrooms as well, right? They may have like an event hall, big one. Yeah.
What if you're like driving, like, and you're in, like you're traveling somewhere in your car, and it's time to pray? Do you like just get off the car and pray like on a clean space?
I just usually agree between when I'm traveling to and from Phoenix. I just pull over, we go on the side, on the dust, pray. Sometimes I carry a sheet with me, otherwise I just pray on the dust.
Can you like pray in the back seat?
I worked.
My kids pray. Sometimes I just can't stop. Too late or something, they pray. They just keep quiet. They keep quiet and they go like this.
I had a job where I worked for a Muslim family, and it was a traveling job, and we were always traveling. Planes, cars, all the time. And a lot of them carried their own little carpet with them, so that anytime, wherever we were, if it was time to pray, they could roll out their own little individual carpet.
You can use newspaper as long as it doesn't have pictures on it or something. You know, some printed paper doesn't have pictures.
Can't have pictures, remember why? Why do we talk about images and pictures?
Because they use symbols.
Yeah.
Instead, right? And why not images?
No pictures.
Why no images?
Because it says the Ten Commandments there has no idols.
Right, but the Ten Commandments are for Jews. What about Muslims? Same thing. You
Yes.
say the same thing. There cannot be, it's idolatry to have images, yeah? So here's what I read, and I want you to confirm if this is just myth. The carpet, I don't know if it was intentional, but the carpet obviously has lines
Yeah.
on which people can line up
Yes.
in order to face Mecca
Yeah, and make straight
and
lines.
make straight lines.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah,
on
that is
purpose?
yeah.
That's on purpose, okay?
If we have just one flat carpet like we have in our houses, then we just put a tape.
You put a tape.
Or the leader before starting the prayer, he makes sure the lines are straight.
Right,
So you would hear him say, shoulder to shoulder, foot to foot.
right. That's one of the things I've always loved about watching prayer here is, did you notice that? People spread their legs so that they are shoulder to shoulder. And that's how prayer's done.
And if I come first, let's say you kids come first and we form the first line, then comes Obama, he's going to stand in the second line. If he comes late, he's going to be in the last line.
Okay,
Nobody's going to say, Mr. President, go to the first line.
right. Before God, all are equal.
Yeah.
Even in death too, right? Like their headstones and that kind of stuff doesn't really.
Our graves are not supposed to be cemented because every 40 years they redo it. Okay, before I run out of battery and I don't have the power cord, I wanna play 3 short clips. Okay, next this month, 18th or 19th, we have something every year which is called pilgrimage. Just like, I think Christians are as well, they go to Jerusalem. To
Yes,
see certain
on
places.
pilgrimage, yes.
We have a pilgrimage. So we go to a city, Mecca, in the country Saudi Arabia. Why we go there and what we do? According to our faith, you know that. You know that? Good. So Abraham, when he was in Iraq area, then he moved to Pharaoh's place in Egypt or wherever. Gabriel brought, he said, God wants me to take you to a new place. So Gabriel took Abraham and he brought him to this valley. Back then, this Mecca was like a small Tucson. It's a small valley, it's like a bowl. So he brought Abraham there, and Abraham then later brought his wife Hagar, not Sarah, but Hagar. And his small son, not Isaac, but Ishmael. So he left them there. And they said, where are you going? He said, God ordered me to go. So I'm going. So what happened? The kid, Ishmael was a very young kid. He was thirsty and he was crying for water. So his mother Hagar was very upset. She didn't know what to do in that desert. So there were 2 mountains. Let's say the difference between 2 mountains is about a block. So she ran up this one and then ran up to this one looking for somebody. So she ran between these mountains 7 times. Until Ishmael started hitting the ground with his heels and a spring came out, water started coming out. And it came out so much, she was afraid they were going to, she said, stop, stop in Arabic, which means Zam Zam. That well still runs today and it's called Zam Zam. And the water there, it just comes out of the ground and we do not purify it. When I'm going by the way this year. I'm leaving next year. So we have, if I don't have any loans, and I don't have daughters who needs to be married or kids who need some money from me, I'm independent. It's a compulsory upon me to go and do this pilgrimage once in my lifetime. So me and my wife are going next week. When I come back, I'm going to bring 2 gallons of water because we are allowed to bring 2 gallons. And you can see how clean it is. And it's been flowing for thousands of years. In Saudi Arabia, in a desert where there is no water, there is no river. Hold on. So she said, the water started, right? And then the Satan appears to them 3 times saying, if you bow to me and this thing, I'll do this for you. You're in trouble, I'll help you. She refused to, rather she threw pebbles at the devil. So those places are marked with 3 pillars. Okay? Now, and then Ibrahim came back and Ishmael grew up by then, he was a teenager. Ibrahim and Ishmael both built a room, this black room. It's still there. First it was built by Adam, then it was built by Abraham. So it's still there, and the rock, the sand rock they were standing on and building it, has Abraham's footprint. That rock is still there. So last time I was there, I didn't do the pilgrimage, but I just went there, I saw those. This is called Hajj or pilgrimage. So what we do, we go there, we circle the thing 7 times because Ibrahim did it, and we run between those 2 mountain peaks 7 times because Hagar did it, and then we drink from the well, which still runs, and then we spend 1 or 2 nights in an open area like 5 miles away from the city where they spend their nights. So we follow their footsteps for like 5 days. It's kind of,
Is this building you're talking about, the Kaaba?
Kaaba. The Kaaba in Arabic, Kaaba is Arabic for cube.
Is anyone allowed in it, Irfan?
Huh?
Can you get into it, and if you can go into it, is anyone allowed into it?
Only like, presidents and people like this are allowed.
Okay.
And they open for them like once in a while.
Okay.
You don't go inside the room except when the government has certain,
Heads of state or something like that? Not even imams or anything like
No,
that?
it's usually locked. There is nothing inside.
There's nothing inside. The meteorite, where's the meteorite?
Oh, that means it's called
Is that a joke?
No, that was
Is
called.
this a joke or?
No.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm teaching the right thing.
No, it's an interesting way of putting it. That's what because all we learned is this rock came from heaven.
Right.
And it was white, but now it's black. So,
Right.
but yeah, maybe
Okay.
Okay, this is called, I want to show you only, this is all these people. Well,
You've kind of seen that picture before,
yeah, but let me go back.
right?
Hey guys,
We've
try and
seen
be
we've
extra clean, and especially with the orange, the kiwi peels,
seen a similar
because I
picture.
forgot why.
Okay guys, you have seen already how we pray, right? I just wanted to, just in case you missed the prayer, I wanted to show you the position. This is the map of the world. That's USA, this is Saudi Arabia in the red circle. And in the map below, within Saudi Arabia, that's Mecca. That's where Muhammad was born. That's where they built this thing. So, this is the map I took from Google Map. You see the white thing in the middle? This is the map of city of Mecca. You see how it looks like Tucson, all desert and stuff? So in the middle is that black thing. That black thing is this. This room, the black cubicle, was built by Abraham and Ishmael. It's about, we call 16 arms
Cubits?
tall.
Yeah.
Yes. And in this corner, they didn't show it here, but in this corner where a lot of people are gathered is that black stone.
Okay, that black stone, wherever it came from. Yeah.
This is the pictures of the pilgrim. You see, this is when it's full. This year, about 4 million people go there. 1 million are already there as of yesterday. So 3 million are coming there within next week and a half. And then they will perform all these things, and within 2 weeks they will all leave.
And what is the holy day?
Eid.
Eid Peter?
That is the end of Ramadan.
Right.
This one is called Eid al-Adha. Eid
Okay,
al-Adha.
is this the one to Abraham?
Yes.
Okay.
Eid simply means, the word Eid simply means happiness.
Happy.
So the first one is a lot of people, they are circling that thing. And it has 3 floors. The closest circle, the shortest circle, if you do 7 times, takes about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And if you are unlucky and you are on the top floor and all the way out, the outermost, it takes about 5 miles walk.
Wow.
So this thing contains the footprint of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and the last one is his footprint. You see these two feet? And this picture in the below is people, they are staying in that open area for 2 nights. Now I will show you some video. Then we will come back to this quickly before I run out of power.
I think the mosques around the world is the one that's going to
Okay, you see this several million people. You see this thing? That's where Ibrahim's feet were, in that.
You guys suck, but there's a couple words here, circumambulatory, or what's the word?
Like water.
They are going in a circle.
It's water.
So they're doing the 7-time circle.
You see this thing in the middle? That's where Abraham's footprints are. They have like put a fence around it.
Wow.
Okay, this one. This is between the 2 mountains where Hagar ran.
Okay.
They have now created a tunnel and covered it so we don't, rain and all that doesn't interfere. This is the people running inside that tunnel. You see, some are going, some are coming back. Men, you see all the white clothes people, they're all men. Men are supposed to cover themselves in 2 pieces of white clothes, not pant and shirt. So I will take 2 sheets like bed sheets. I'll wrap one around myself and I'll take one like this. Women can wear whatever.
Oh, cool. Also what?
I think some have orange on, and then green, and then purple, and blue.
Will it be terribly, terribly hot there?
Excuse me?
Will it be terribly hot
Oh.
there, Irfan? Unbearable?
Yeah, like 100 something.
Yeah.
Are they running?
You can run. There is a place because she ran. So when you come down from one mountain and when you go up, That area you naturally you're running, right? So they have marked it. Between those two lines you have to run. It's about 100 yards, not 100 yards, 50 yards.
Like they're going in like a circle.
Yeah, so they go up from this lane and they come back from this. So they do it 7 times. So going and coming back is 1 lap. Then you go do it 7 times. So I'll show you this. When they go, they move after this to a big open area and they stay there for 3 nights or 2 nights. So they are moving to that. All these people. And you know what they are saying? You keep saying it for 3 days or so. You're saying, Labbaik, I'm here. Oh Lord, I'm here. That's what they keep saying. I'm here.
Oh Lord, I'm here.
Would there be any reason, Irfan, to do it more than once, other than just your desire to? Your pilgrimage?
You know, I honestly think this whole city's economy is run on this issue.
Oh yeah.
Imagine
But I'd like, let's just say you live in a village 50 miles away from Mecca. Would you go often, or would you still just do it once?
Yeah, many people do it all the time.
Yeah.
20, 30 times every year. But I think they should be stopped because there's too much.
It's true, that's a lot of people.
You know, imagine Mecca is not as big as Tucson, it's almost. But imagine if 4 million people come in for 2-3 weeks. You can't even drive.
No.
So I think they have to manage, but I think out of 300 people will remote.
Yeah.
Why are you stopping me?
Yeah.
Okay, these are some mosques. I took pictures to show you the architecture. The architecture of the mosque.
You done with everything?
Did you guys see this in class?
Done with that?
Yeah, we saw the blue mosque in
Well, good.
Yeah, it's
You still working on it?
Very.
you know, Taj Mahal is a big thing, right? Everybody likes Taj Mahal. Mughal king, you know, by the way, I'm Mughal, even though I'm not a king.
Listen up, guys.
So, a Mughal king, his name was Shah Jahan. Shah means king, Jahan means world. So he was like the king of the world, he named himself. He was the one who built this mosque, the bottom. It takes about 300,000 people at one time. It's in my city, in my country. And he also built Taj Mahal. But you know, the guy who built Taj Mahal, his name was Murad. After he was done, the king got his whole both arms cut off. So he can't make anything like that again.
What?
Yeah. Because it's so big, he said, I don't want you to make anything. That's how kings were. So we praise, but I don't like him. He used 12,000 slaves to work 12 years using 600 elephants and God knows what else to make this Taj Mahal. While he was spending all this money and time for Taj Mahal, for his wife's tomb, the world was making universities and stuff. That's why he nailed down. When King Edward's wife died of cancer in England, he created a medical college called King Edward Medical College. Same time Shah Jahan's wife died, he spent 12 years on this throne. Close. The dress code in Islam is, it should be modest. 5 rules, 6. For both men and women, except one difference. It should not be see-through. It should not be tight. It should not be tight. It should not be too expensive. So if you make $2,000, you buy like $100 now. It should not be too expensive. Men should not wear women's dress. Women should not wear men's dress. Okay? Men should not use gold. Gold is prohibited for men in my culture. But for men, fine. Well, I mean, for women, it's fine. I have to make sure I'm at least covered from my belly button, above belly button, until below my knees. Women are supposed to be covered except their faces and hands and feet. That's the dress code. Now, Different culture, when I come here I wear pants. When I'm back home I wear something like, you know the like guy in the down there in the bottom. I have it, but I don't wear it.
You ever wear it here?
Yeah, for our Eid day, but I come go home and change it again. Now, any question?